Do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda? All right, seeing none. Chet, you're up first to talk about the Stark House at the National Register.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. So this one is a request that we received from SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office. They will be going through a meeting here on Friday, and I believe maybe into Saturday. They've got a number of agenda items to review nominations to be placed on the National Historic Register. The one that they had sent us information about and asked for comment on is the Stark House, located up in Condon. It's in the Signet Lindbergh Lake area, and it's a house that was built, it was a hand-hewn log cabin or log house that was built back in the late 30s, early 40s by the Stark family. And the building itself was crafted by them, as well as cabinetry, the furniture, some hand carvings of animals and things like that. And a lot of that is still in place within the house. Wow. So the nomination itself came from the owner, who lives, I believe, in Minnesota, but she has submitted all the concurrence forms to the State Historic Preservation Office. And then as a county entity, we were offered the opportunity to comment as well. It does have support of the Upper Swan Valley Historical Society. So this is one particular property and building there that does have some significance, at least within the local community, and they support the nomination. What we're looking for here is the board chair to sign off on the form that was sent to us by the State Historic Preservation Office that we would support this nomination if the commission wishes to do so.
Great. So, Chet, I don't foresee any problems with us doing this. I'm just curious, what sort of benefit to this structure will being on the register provide it? Does that offer protection or access to grants, or what does this do for the owners of this building and for this building itself?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it does potentially open some doors for them to look for support to retain the qualities that it possesses currently and what they're trying to preserve. Being on the National Register also sets requirements for them. So in terms of repairs or other improvements on the property, it's got to fit within certain characteristics that relate to why it was registered. So it's kind of a twofold piece there. And it's great that the owner is the one interested in this, because it suggests, I think, that there's some real interest in seeing that through the long term.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks.
And wasn't there something unique about the how those logs are joined? How they're joined and how it's unique to the area?
There could be, Juanita, and there was a fairly lengthy nomination form. I think it was 40-some pages that really went into that level of detail as to the various characteristics and reasons why it had significance for listing. And so things like that could certainly be there. I don't remember if that was one or not, but that doesn't at all sound out of the question.
It's super cool. If you haven't had a chance to look at anyone on the line has not had a chance to look at the nomination form and some of the photos in there. The furniture and the structure itself are pretty cool. I'd love to have a tour of it.
I think post-COVID, we need to go take a look.
Absolutely. Oh,
yeah.
Well, I move to request the board chair signature of Montana Historical Preservation Office nomination form to support the listing of the Stark House.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Chet.
All right, thank you all. I'll be getting this form off to the State Historic Preservation Office then, and I will be listening in on the meeting on Friday, and I know Dave's been forwarded the invite as well. So we'll at least be there to hear the formal piece of this.
Great. Thanks for bringing this forward.
Thanks.
Okay, next up is Eric Dixon, Mill Creek.
Yes, thank you. So a quick recap that several years ago we were awarded a Treasure State Endowment Program grant for the replacement of two bridges, this one on Main Street in Frenchtown and the other on Bible Lane in Alberton. We've been slowly progressing for the past several months, and we are to the point now where we are ready for construction. Dick Anderson submitted the lowest bid on this project. We advertised them together, but took the best price for both. So Dick Anderson had the low bid on this project. Their work is good, and all of their bid documents were confirmed by our engineer, and we've negotiated the attached professional services agreement, or they wanted to call it a construction services agreement. So I didn't see any problem with that. That's what they're doing, and so we would recommend that the agreement be executed, so they'll be ready to work in June.
And when will it be done?
They have, I think, I can't remember, a 60-day window, so it will be done before school starts, since the detour route runs through the school playground and school property. We're aiming for substantial completion by August 21st.
Okay. Eric, do you have a sense of when the bridge was built that we're replacing? How old it is?
I don't. These are actually a couple of culverts that, given the style of the construction, that they're not bolted together, but I'm drawing a blank, riveted together. And construction like that is probably 60s or 70s. And they're undersized, and being the last crossing on this on Mill Creek, we're kind of the holdup for all the water that comes down. So we're going from 2 culverts to a 65 or 62 foot long bridge.
Wow. Well, it lasted for 50 to 60 years. It sounds pretty good, and we're going to get more than that out of this one. So
yes.
Great.
I would move that we approve the construction services agreement with Dick Anderson.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, keep going to Bible Lane Bridge.
Yeah, so with the same background, Jackson Contractor Group here in Missoula submitted the low bid for the work out in Alberton. And so we would also recommend that the construction services agreement be executed.
Great. This one came about a lot faster, right? Or not?
Nope, these have been running side by side for the past 5 years. So for a brief history, we were aiming for construction last year, but we ran into problems with access. By the time we had our detour route worked out, it didn't come together. So we're a year behind schedule from what we had hoped, but this one has been running with Main Street.
So Eric, on this, is there any alternate access for the folks who live back in there if the bridge is out of commission while it's being reconstructed?
We have a detour bridge set up immediately upstream. We did some work for redecking back in 2002, I believe it was, and the alternate route then was 5 or 6 mile detour coming from Alberton itself on a single lane or less in some places Forest Service road. So a real detour route was not feasible here. So part of the contract is for an on-site detour.
Got it. Thanks.
Well, I move to request the board approve construction services agreement with Jackson Contractor Group.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thanks, Eric. Oh, we got one.
Yeah,
Still going. We got
building
2 more today.
Bridges today, guys. Okay, yeah, Eric, let's talk dust control.
So dust control, you may recall a few weeks ago that with our budget concerns, we were wondering what to do and how to move forward. And at your instruction, we went ahead and provided the same number of miles of road, but for most of those that are not in the air stagnation zone or are not a highly traveled road, we dropped the application rate and cut it in half. And with that, we took our county budget from $190,000 down to about $105,000. So all of those residents in the remote areas that have been seeing this service for the past 10 years and enjoy it and have come to expect it will still be getting the service. Most of those have been treated so long that, as always, we count on a lot of residual benefit. So a half shot this year should provide a a suitable level of dust suppression and surface control so that we don't need to be out there grading as often. So we're doing as much as we can with the limitations that we're facing this year, as you are.
Yeah, Eric, we really appreciate your thriftiness and creativity to continue to provide people this important service and keep costs down. So thanks.
Sure, you're welcome.
Yeah, and seriously, shout out from Extrams. Like I said, he got an effusive voicemail thanking us, you guys, for doing what you did there. So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah. Likewise. Thanks for the creativity here. I'd move that we approve the PSA.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we're talking chips.
Yes, so for the first time in 20 years, the Missoula County Public Works Department is working on a chip seal project. You may recall that a lot of this came from the idea of using the millings from Highway 83 North. MDT is doing some resurfacing up there, and we had asphalt available, and we thought, well, and the reason that we've avoided using millings in the past is we never had a good way to seal them, and an overlay is pretty expensive. So Shane, while working at MDT, had used this many times with when the millings are placed to provide an immediate chip seal, seal that surface, and the road should hold up a lot better. So we worked things out. We kind of had to break the project up. We realized that we were getting better prices by splitting the chip supply out from the chip application. Actually the company that this Payment Management Solutions had, we thought, the inside track for getting the MDT contract, and they ended up not getting it, but they were the actually I should change that. They were a subcontractor for the company that was going to be, we thought, getting the MDT contract, and it didn't work out for them. So while they were in the area, though, they had supplied the chips anyway. So we'll be coming next week also with a separate contract for the chip application itself. So we're hoping that we're getting best price for the project by splitting these things out. So this small contract and this amount is really for work that's already been done. PMS has been very cooperative and helpful with us to get this done. So we would recommend that the agreement be executed so we can pay them for the work they've done.
Is this the pile that is up in the pasture next to Morel Creek, or do I?
No, we actually, they stockpiled in two locations for us. One is at Barber Creek, which is just north of Holland Lake Road, one of the roads that we will be putting the millings on and then chip sealing. And then the other stockpile location is at the MDT yard just south of Seeley Lake itself.
Oh, okay. So this stuff came off of, I don't think I understand how this works very well. These chips came off of road work, or came off of 83. The work on 83?
Not yet. The millings that we'll get off, so the contractor will actually mill the asphalt off. That is supposed to start sometime in June. So I don't know if they had stockpiled chips separately for the resurfacing work on Highway 83, but for our specific projects, we're stockpiled at Barber Creek and the State Yard.
Oh, okay.
With just the surface chips.
Okay. Well, I think what I was getting at, I think my understanding was there's a pile of stuff left over from ripping up 83 that's in a pasture next to Morel Creek.
Juan, I think you're thinking of the notorious John Richards stockpile of crap. So totally different.
Thank you. Oh, I just didn't know if that had been moved or is part of this at all. Okay, thanks. So yeah, I moved to, or is it my turn? Sorry, or was it yours, Dave?
I think you're fine. Go for it.
Okay, I request the board approve the professional services agreement with PMS.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. All right, our very own Sarah Bell.
Hello.
Hey there.
So the action before you today is to establish members for the newly established Food Policy Board, which is a joint board with the City of Missoula. And the commissioners are responsible to appoint 4 members. We appoint 3 regular members and 1 alternate member. So we've had 9 applicants. We had 2 from the non-governmental organization or researcher working in the area of local food systems and or sustainable agriculture. Those were Jason Mandela and Jeff Wilson. From the emergency food provider sector, we had Stephanie Stratton, Aaron Brock, Jessica Allred. From the local ag producers, we had Jody Wills, David Wren, and Greg Peters. And then from the retail food outlet, we had Bart Morris.
So, and Bart is also a producer, just to put that out there. He does retail and wholesale.
I'm really excited about this.
Yeah. So you guys, I had one proposal just to kind of start a conversation with, if you're open to.
Yeah, lay it out there.
Okay, so what I'm proposing is to kind of going by subject area here would be to have Jessica Allred, Jason Mandala, and Bart Morris be our members, and Jody Wills be our alternate. And the reasoning behind that is because both Bart and Jody are ranchers, but Bart is tied into the local food system as a retailer as well as a producer. So I feel like there's a little bit of overlap between the two, but a little bit of distinction. Also knowing that we want the alternates to come to every meeting and participate in all the discussions. So that's my first crack, but I'm fully open to hearing what everybody has to say and changing through conversation. I'm not, this isn't carved in stone. This is just a starting point for discussion.
No, I think that's,
wanted to say.
I think that's excellent. I was not present for Jason's interview, so I trust your judgment on that.
Thanks.
Jessica was great the other day. I think she'll be perfect for the board. And I concur with your suggestions for Bart and Jody.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Jason's very tied in with the school district's food, food creation, and they grow food and how the central kitchen works. He's deep into that world, and I think that's such a large part of our local food system. We should have that as part of this.
Sarah, do we need to figure out staggered terms for any of the 3 full members, or I guess any of the members we're appointing?
Yes, so since it's a new board, all the terms are staggered. If you have the RCA before you, at the bottom of the RCA, the staggered terms are listed out. So we need to decide a 1-year, 2-year, and 3-year, and then the alternate term is a 2-year term already. So if you have a preference on the 1-year, 2-year, 3-year, we need to dial that in.
What do you think, Josh?
I was gonna say let's do Jessica on the 1 year, because there's a strong bench there with the folks from the Food Bank Network and from Aaron himself. If she didn't want to re-up, I'm hoping that she would, but if she didn't want to, there's a solid bench there. And on the other couple, I didn't have as strong an opinion. What do you guys think?
Bart 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bart would be a great one to have continuity with, and like I say, I don't know Jason, so.
Yeah, let's do Bart 3 and Jason 2.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then Jody 2 as well as the alternate.
Okay.
That would be great.
Sure, I will be happy to make the motion of just what you said.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and just for the record, Annie, that was Jessica Allred for the 1-year term, Jason Mandela for the 2-year term, Bart Morris for the 3-year term, Jody Wills for the alternate 2-year term.
Thank you, got it.
Thanks. And Sarah, when we correspond with these guys, especially with Jody, just wanted to make sure that she knows we're expecting her to come to the meetings and fully participate in the conversation. And it's our doubled up on ranchers and is kind of why we went this way, with one rancher being the alternate and the rancher / retailer being the person, the voting person. And we'd be excited for her to move to a voting person when our other rancher's term is up.
Okay, great. She will be the first alternate, and the second alternate will be from the county. So if a regular member is absent, Jody would be the first person to fill in for that.
Yep.
So we're working on kind of a tight deadline here because we want to have the first meeting on Monday.
Excellent.
I need to get an agenda published this afternoon and get notice to these members this afternoon. So would you all be willing to sign letters via DocuSign in the next hour or so?
For sure. And on that agenda, Sarah, the only thing I was going to add to it, and if I could just do this while chatting, we're at the very end when we had other issues. I just wanted to do a really quick history of the local food system during COVID. Like what things have happened in the past 2 months that have changed the landscape, and that'll take me 15 minutes.
Okay, great. I'll add that to the agenda.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So my goal is to have that agenda posted by 3 today.
Perfect. Thanks for your time and all this.
So if we can get the letters turned around, my goal is before noon on that, so I can get notice out to the new members. So the city members have already been notified of their appointments.
Excellent. Yeah, good work making this happen.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The
Guys.
9-month road.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, can I ask a quick question? This is Martin. Just to
bet.
add some beef to this story. Josh, can you maybe just describe the role of the Food Policy Board, what your
Absolutely.
hopes are
Yeah.
for this board?
Yeah.
Thanks.
For sure. Thank you.
Josh, did we vote yet?
Oh, good question. I don't think we did. Martin, hold that. We'll vote and then we'll chat.
You bet. Thanks.
Okay, I motion to approve Bart Morris to 3 years, Jessica Allred to 1 year, Jason Mandela 2 years, Jody Wells 2-year alternate.
Yeah, I'll second or whatever.
All right.
Oh,
All
sorry,
in
do this? Okay, sorry, we're voting. We're just saying aye?
I think aye.
Aye, okay. Never mind, Annie.
doubled up. So Martin, the answer to your question is the hopes for the food board is that they would provide policy recommendations to the BCC and to the city council and the mayor so that we can use policy as a tool to further the resiliency, stability, economic vitality, ecological sustainability of our local and regional food system. So we populated this board with experts from different realms of the food system, and we're excited to hear what they have to say.
Thanks.
You bet. Thank you. Okay, the next one.
The last item,
PHC.
the last item is just a standard employment agreement with PHC and Terry Malachi as a compliance and credentialing manager for the time period June 1st through June 30th of 2021.
I so move.
All right, all in favor? Dave, I can read your lips, but you're muted.
I seconded it and I say aye.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, do we have any correspondence? All right, some discussion items. Communications needs, requests, comments, instructions.
Hi, I've been having an echo. Hopefully it's gone. It's really annoying. I don't have anything. I just want to let you know I checked in with Shane on the guest column and he is working on it.
Oh, great. Thanks. Thanks.
You bet.
And do you think it would be useful for me to be a participant or co-signer, or should I not?
I don't know yet because I haven't read what he's developing.
We can
I want to read it. I'm assuming it would be great to have you sign it, but
however I best can be helpful.
okay. Thank you.
Oh, and totally separate subject, but someone asked me if the community council, the all community council town hall meeting from last night, was that recorded? They wanted to. Okay, where do they find that?
It's on the county's YouTube channel.
County's YouTube channel. Okay.
Yep.
That seemed like a really positive experience. It seemed like all the community councils really appreciated talking to each other. And
did you guys all see Shane's email this morning about signs?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting. And in conversation with some
I
of our.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to check
So
email for the past 3
So the
hours.
deal is, MDT has put signs up on many of the entrances to our state. So if you're driving in, you see a sign that says governor's order, 14-day quarantine. So I heard that. I'm like, well, you're going to have to go through some other county, except I think Lolo Pass, that's in Missoula County, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
No?
Lolo Pass is.
Yeah, the Lolo Pass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's the only spot where you could possibly drive in from out of state. And then one of my family business's workers had recently driven over that pass and said there wasn't a sign there. So I asked Shane if MDT could put a sign there, and apparently they have all the signs up they're going to have for a while and are to revisit later. But so it seems like if there's any vulnerable lack of signage, that's the only one. Because if you fly in, you're going to see a sign at the airport, and I don't know about the bus station, but maybe we can look into that.
Sarah Bell is checking on that.
So I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
check
what.
on the.
I don't know what to do about the Lolo Pass deal. I mean, because there is a potential that someone could, wild renegade person from Idaho could be driving in and not be aware of our quarantine. I hear they're slippery over there.
Well, perhaps we could have Granite County fashion a sign for us, since they appear to have that down to a science over there.
So there's a vulnerability in our sign barricade system at Lolo Pass.
We're
All
checking
right.
at signage at state parks also.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So just one thing about the video one, I'm gonna send out an email with the link on YouTube. The video's up on YouTube already, but I'll send out a follow-up email to everyone with a new schedule invite for the next town hall meeting.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody could speak to this Mountain Pact virtual fly-in?
Well, it was something we got the other day, and just wanted to see if either of you or all of us or none of us were interested in participating in this. I think the goal of this group was to schedule virtual meetings with various members of Western state congressional delegations to talk about a number of issues.
Sounds like it could be positive.
I thought it was just for full funding of LWCF. Are there other issues?
I thought I saw in an email that there were other issues listed besides LWCF.
I have lost that email. It is deeply buried. What?
And did you have something else to share on this topic too?
No, I just resent that email to you just before admin, so
Okay.
the invite email, so just so it would be further up in your inboxes, I just assumed that.
Yeah, things get buried quickly. Well, it sounds like a potentially fruitful conversation.
I think Chet might have something to share, however.
Yeah, and I don't have a lot of information, but following our last discussion, I think Juanita, you had some questions on, whether folks out there had been tracking the status of LWCF, and I think there was some interest in, at least on the LWCF front, maybe some suggestions and encouragement that there could potentially be funding for LWCF in some stimulus package related to COVID-19. I'm sure you're aware, prior to that, LWCF was moving along pretty well and had a lot of bipartisan support. And then as COVID-19 came onto the scene, it's really stalled out more. LWCF, full funding for LWCF is wrapped into the Great American Outdoors Act. And so it looks, at least in this email that we got, that the discussion is more broadly about the Great American Outdoors Act, which includes things like money for maintenance at national parks and things like that. It also includes full funding for LWCF. So that might be, Dave, where you're thinking that this is a bit of a broader discussion, but it certainly incorporates that LWCF full funding piece.
So the cover, so Chet, the cover letter that I was able to just dredge up states that this is an opportunity for local elected officials from mountain communities with outdoor recreation economies to share their perspectives with federal policymakers to advocate for effective conservation, climate, outdoor recreation, and public lands policies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know, Dave, if they've got some other discussions outside of specifically what's in that Great American Outdoors Act or not. I think the nexus here is that there's certainly impacts to the tourism and recreation economies in states like Montana and probably many other across the West, and even more broadly than that. And that the impacts of COVID-19 should also include some conversations about how maybe stimulus can help support some of those broader outdoor recreation economy goals. I don't know the specific details about that. I did visit with Randy Arnold following our meeting, and I know he had talked to some other folks that are tied into the conservation communities. And the general message that we heard back was that for the most part, a lot of that discussion and energy has been put on hold while so much of the time spent on the federal level is really looking at COVID-19. It can't hurt to support, of course, these sorts of notions and continuing to look for ways to fully fund LWCF. I think there might also be, though, on the extraction side of what funds that program, some concern about royalties and whether there can be some support, I guess, given to that side and some of the oil extraction businesses and things. And so I think there is that conversation about, well, you know, what's this full picture look like and what does that all mean? I don't know that there really wasn't any more additional detail as to where things were at. I think that was just a general finger on the pulse. And that was coming from a couple of folks, I think, that Randy had visited with, and we can certainly follow up with them on more information if we'd like.
Yeah, there was a doodle poll associated with the invitation. So I guess it just boils down to if any of us are interested, maybe Sarah could take a look at how our schedules align with available time slots.
Did any one of you guys feel super excited about getting to do this, or should we all do it? What's your pleasure?
I'm more curious. I'd love to just listen in on the conversation.
Great. You
for
should.
all the reasons that Chet just said with royalties, and I mean, this is where that fund comes from, and now who knows? So I have nothing to offer, but I would love to listen in. If
and I think you have tons to offer, and I think you should listen in.
I don't have a strong opinion about, you know, this is what needs to be done, but I want to hear. I absolutely support LWCF, and obviously I'm in outdoor tourism and recreation. But
Yeah.
You want to be our representative?
Yeah.
Sure.
You should be our representative.
I will represent.
Great.
I'm looking at. I'm struggling to find my calendar to see if it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
No, it's not. It's at some later date.
Okay.
I think it might be in June, actually. I'm not positive.
You're supposed to fill it out by tomorrow.
Yeah, it says it may occur in May or June.
Okay.
Not by tomorrow.
Perfect.
Fill it out by the 19th. So you have 5 days to fill out the doodle poll.
Okay. I'll do that. Thanks.
I'm also seeing here, and Ann, I don't know, you can help correct me, but I'm seeing a tomorrow date, 11 to noon, which is a virtual congressional briefing and a 20-minute telepress conference after. I don't know, Ann, if you have more detail on that. I'm not sure how that relates to the doodle piece.
I'm not sure either, to be honest. I do not have the doodle poll, but I do have the email I forwarded all of you just before 10, and that is the virtual congressional briefing tomorrow at 11.
Sign me up for that, Sarah.
Sarah, I'll forward this to you.
Okay, I will doodle for you on.
Thank you.
I'll make a pretty picture in my doodles.
So virtual everything is interesting. Thanks, Dave.
Sure.
Oh, so I possibly have skipped over this. Did anybody have any COVID-19 stuff they wanted to talk about?
No, but I'd like to go back to the communication piece for a
Great.
minute and just circle back on the Public Service Academy video, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sarah, you have those dates handy, don't you? I just want to make sure that you're clear because you don't need to, you're not doing anything on this today, Josh.
Okay.
Okay, Sarah, do you want to?
Yeah, so Josh, the group needs to get together and coordinate the videos before you actually do the video.
Okay.
And so that doodle poll that I filled out was for a meeting next week to get the group together to chat. So it's going to be a half-hour meeting so everyone can hear what everybody's going to talk about. And then the video filming got pushed out further because the group was having a hard time getting everybody to connect. So you are scheduled for May 27th at 11:30 on
Sure.
campus at the Bear. And so Anthony, the one that's been sending those emails, he knows that you're all set up.
Great. Thanks. So I'll look forward to the next meeting will be discussion with all the participants about who's going to talk about what.
Correct, and that will be next week sometime.
Okay.
And the following week will be the filming.
Great. Well, and Sarah, thanks to you both for straightening this out.
So what's the Public Service Academy?
The Public Service Academy is a convening of public sector folks from across the state that the Masters in Public Administration program pulls together every year. So last year was the first one, and this year we're going to do it again, but it'll be all virtual. So videos and some webinar type stuff. It's going to happen in August, I believe. So and yeah. Pretty cool, and we can sign people up for anyone who's interested. I can send out information on it.
Because now there won't be necessarily a limit, right? Because if it's virtual or online, more people can participate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I totally am interested.
It's pretty cool. A bunch of us went last year, and it was really interesting. There were great panel discussions. I thought it was a great use of time. Lots of folks from the city, lots of state employees there, folks who traveled from other jurisdictions came and attended. It was good.
Yeah, I remember people asking really good questions.
Yeah. Yep.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have anything else?
No.
All right.
Thanks.
Oh, great. I guess we're done. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.